welcome to 49 Unbeaten, the official Arsenal Baffle podcast. This is episode 24. I'm joined by Dan and Ben to preview the Olympiacos game. We've got history with this, don't we? And not good history. And it's the team you didn't want, really. I mean, apart from Spurs and Man United, it's probably the team you wanted.
It's a bit depressing, isn't it?
It is.
The Arsenal fans all over Twitter, and we're included in this. We're like, oh, we want revenge against a Greek team. The Greek Super League, well known for its quality in Europe. We want revenge against this lot.
Like 10 years ago in the Champions League, we were beating 6-0 comfortably at the Emirates. Like Theo Walcott, I think, scored a hat-trick against them one. Like normally we breeze it, and that's Champions League football. And now you're like, oh well, we lost them last year, so what's going to happen this time?
We can't lose again. I don't think we will, but it will just be far too depressing because we'll draw them next year as well.
Okay. If we lose this game, I'm going to become a cricket fan.
Sorry, the England team, they do know better, I can assure you.
If we get knocked out by Olympiacos, then it's just going to have to be a new career, isn't it? Imagine if we get knocked out by Olympiacos again, then
don't put that thought into the
We have to consider it. We're playing them again. Just think of the meltdown.
Think of Josh's meltdown,
though. Football Twitter will go into a state of its own pandemic if we lose Olympiacos.
We just get rinsed, and especially with us playing them down the road next, on the weekend. If we lose to Olympiacos going into that game, it'd be a nightmare.
Could be a very, very nice 2 weeks, or it could be the worst fortnight of Arsenal Football Club's history.
It could be the worst 5 podcasts we've ever had to record, previewing and reviewing those.
God, can you imagine?
I think even Josh would lose his "come on, you Gunner" spirit by then.
Yeah, I would.
I think he's lost it already. I'm not going to lie.
That defeat at the weekend, not even a defeat we drew at the weekend, just felt like a defeat.
Mate, you were wearing your white Arsenal shirt and you were going the same shade of red as the blood scars. You were just we all felt your pain, but mate, you just when you were saying, okay, let's get a podcast out, I was like, he just needs to let his frustration out. Did you feel better afterwards? I did. It was a tough one to take. It felt good talking to other Arsenal fans and just letting it all. Because normally I put a 4-thread tweet out on social media, just sort of screaming at Kevin Friend, but this way putting it audibly, I feel less angry because I know just get you out there. So game on Thursday. Are we away this leg? Does it matter? I don't know where
we're in Greece. So we're actually we're away, but we're where we played at home last round.
Yeah, that's really confusing, isn't it?
But we have got a 100% record there so far this season. So I mean, you win some, you lose some, but we don't lose them.
We're going to lose them now.
But I'm a bit peed off with UEFA. A little bit, yeah. Because this stupid rule that I understand in sort of hostile cities and stuff, but when no fans are allowed to the game, I don't understand why 2 teams from the same city can't play at the same time because no fans are going to clash. It's not transport. No, it's police. It's the police be spread too thinly if 2 teams from the same city, they won't be able to control the fans. But with no fans in, there'll be no need for police to. So I don't understand that. And B, because we won the FA Cup and we're seemingly better off in Europe, our advantage to play the second leg away for. I don't understand the rule. It's so stupid. But our advantage from UEFA is playing the second leg at home. I think
that's always been the way though, because
but that's their rule.
Sorry, the whole home and away thing, is that only a thing in Europe? Because I'm pretty sure I've been to the Emirates before, and there's been games. There was one time I'm pretty sure I went, and there was Spurs were playing at home, West Ham were playing at home, and the Carabao Cup final was on at the same time.
Yeah, it's a UEFA thing, I think.
Is it only a UEFA thing? Because I'm not sure I completely understand that.
The Premier League's like a scheduling thing with TV rights and stuff, so it's harder to, and you can only move games for exceptional circumstances.
Okay.
So, but UEFA, I think it's that rule. But we apparently get the better hand by having our second leg at home, but which means domestically though we're screwed because Spurs got their fixture rearranged or whatever way round it was, so they now have no travel ahead of the Northampton derby, and we have an 8,000-mile round trip as well as playing 90 minutes of football.
Yeah, but something you will say is I think we have more sort of useful squad depth than Spurs do, in terms of all of our players are sort of around the same level.
I think their starting 11 is better than ours, but I think
I'd probably agree with that, as much as it pains to say it.
Yeah,
I mean, man for man, it's not looking great for us.
There's arguments to be had there, but at the same time, I think, well, for Spurs, Bale's come into a form of his own at the wrong time for us, and he's looking dangerous. And now they've got a front three of Kane, Son, and Bale, which is looking very, very. I mean, I just think of Pablo Mari and David Luiz, and I'm just like,
hey, Pablo Mari's been good. I'll defend Pablo Mari.
Yeah, of course, but at the same time, that's those three, and then with the team. I mean, I could see similar kind of tactics to
Chambers. Yeah, we will cover this in its own episode on Friday.
Yeah,
but I do think we are at an unfair disadvantage, and UEFA have screwed us up.
We have though. We always have.
Rant over. Just another little rant just for you to enjoy.
Shall we move you on to the actual? The opposition. Let's talk about Olympiacos.
Yeah. So obviously we lost to them last year. Fluke game at the Emirates. They scored in the 119th minute, I think. Then Aubameyang missed a chance a minute later, which he really should have scored.
Just a small game. We don't need to talk about too much. Just gloss over it.
In fairness, he did also score a brilliant overhead kick. So
So
he put that in his season highlights reel, but even though the pain of the game, he still put that in his season highlights reel of all his goals.
It's not quite forgiven for him. Is it hard? Is it harsh to say Aubameyang knocked us out of Europe by missing that chance?
No.
Or is that...
I mean, yes.
That is harsh. Yeah, because
hard. Okay.
You can't say that. The guy got us there in the first place, effectively as well. You could say,
and he got us through the FA Cup.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
going on goals alone. We should have put that tie to bed well before the 119th minute or whatever it was.
He's forgiven winning us our 14th FA Cup. But historically, we're not going in good form against Olympiacos. But look at the form guide. Overall, they lost their last European game. They went through an aggregate because they won 4-2 in the first leg. They got through in the cup, put on a decent winning, like they've won the last 2 games in the league. Whereas us, in 1-1 to Burnley, it's a bit it's just, I'm not going into it with confidence.
I think I saw some really interesting stuff about Arsenal on Twitter earlier. I can't remember the Twitter handle. I'll put it in the description. But it was talking about how, compared to the fixtures we've had since Christmas last season, so the fixtures we've had since Christmas this season, if you compare them to the same fixtures last season, we're 9 points better off, with something like 6.1 XG higher. So we should have scored 6.1 XG higher and then conceded 2 XG lower. Which sort of shows that, in a nutshell, if you want to describe Arsenal's season, it's sort of like that, isn't it? It's like everything looks like it should be trending upwards.
Yeah.
But the results are sort of sideways. Exactly. Because everything on the pitch, you look and go, that's good, that's good, that's good. And then you go, oh, there's a mistake there. He missed a sitter. It's painful.
It's like statistically, we're doing better than we did last season in every aspect, apart from we're 10th and we finished 8th last season. It's really like...
It's a harder season this season. There's a lot more. Yeah, the level in the league is a lot more level, if that makes sense. Then I don't think it's any better, but I think there's a lot of teams that have upped their game.
It's why it's benefiting teams, and no disrespect, they're having a great season, but a team like West Ham, who historically quite a hostile home atmosphere. I don't think it's unfair to say that pressure almost and expectation has been lifted. The players probably enjoying the playing now without having to worry about fan protests and riots against the board and fans taking corner flags. It's like I was at that game, but it's like almost that pressure off. Whereas us winning an FA Cup, it was meant to be right. You signed the midfielder you wanted. You've won the FA Cup. You should progress. You have a good manager, and it's just fallen apart a bit. And I think it's every game that we go into now, I just feel quite demoralised because the game before just hasn't gone away when it should have. I mean, we spoke about it in our review. That's completely down to VAR and just our inability to take our chances, because that game should have been 4-0 and it before anything happened dramatically. But we are here obviously to talk about Olympiacos, so we just keep getting sidetracked because we don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, which obviously is we're nervous considering what happened last season. Do you make us favourites for the game? It's such a weird.
I would just rather leave it. We don't even have to make a podcast on this one. It's just let fate play out its part.
I'm going to be completely opposite.
Get ready for us to all go. Get ready for us to all go. We're going to win this game. I'm confident. I'm going to predict this. I'm going to predict that, and then we'll appear on a beautiful out of context Arsenal page on Twitter after the 90 minutes, and we will all be made memes of Twitter.
I'm confident. I think we're definitely favourites for the tie. I think we're probably favourites for this game as well, as long as we are controlling games for large parts of even games we lose. Like look at Wolves, look at Villa, you look at Burnley when we drew. We're controlling these games, and it is only a matter of time, I think, before it clicks with the players that we have.
It's just taking chances as well, because we had so many opportunities to take chances. Like Wolves, Saka hit the post. This one, Saka had a chance, he put wide. Aubameyang had another chance. It's just eventually kind of the luck will go our way, and we're now making chances where earlier in the season we weren't even making chances. So I think it is positive signs, and we just really need to create and make chances to finish, and then finish them when it comes to the game on Thursday night.
I don't know about you. I'm in a really awkward position where it looks as if the Europa League is our only way back into Europe next season. Yeah. Unless Everton and Spurs, West Ham, Leicester Villa all sort of go into some really bad patches. Liverpool, it might look like winning the Europa League is our best shot of European football next season. So I think rightly so, you'd favour the Europa League in terms of league. Is Spurs the exception to that? Because trust me, I want to, if we can, play full strength teams in both. But naturally, you have to rush players considering the length of the trip, and the opponent can be quite physical. You look at some of the players they've got. Like we've said, they've got Socrates, Jan and Villa's there. He's quite a dogged midfielder. Albuena,
doggedly linked with Arsenal for the last 10 years.
We were linked with him about 4 transfer windows in a row under Wenger. But it's not a team. It's not a nice team to be up against with a derby sandwiched in between. I'm just worried if we put out a weakened team against Olympiacos, Arsenal fans on Twitter will attack Arteta if we lose or draw. Naturally,
the draw is a good result.
Okay, yeah, but it's not the result we want though. I'm just putting a hypothetical out there. If we put a full strength team out, we win comfortably, but then we knacker out Aubameyang, Saka, T&E, all of them lot, to give them 2 days rest, and then say, right, you're starting are they ready to start in a derby? And it's a derby that we have to win if we want to even have a shot of doing well in the league by Arsenal standards.
And it's bragging rights as well.
It's really awkward time. If we were anyone else, I'd sort of be like, right, okay, Europa League is the priority. I get that. If it was the other way around and we were playing like Man City now and Spurs when we played Man City, I'd be like, right, okay. But it's because of who the opponent is on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm really in 2 minds about what game, who plays when, if they play both.
Take a step back though and think about it in sort of a wider picture. Next season, would you and would Arteta as well rather be saying we're playing Tuesday, Wednesday nights in the Champions League, or do you remember we beat Spurs last season? Like I know it's it's a massive game for Arsenal Football Club, mainly because we used to smack them and it was great fun.
5-2. Oh my God, Thomas Ritzy.
But you've always got to take. I think in this situation you've got to just look at the bigger picture and say if we want to be back in Europe next season, we need to win the Europa League. We need to play our strongest squad. If it gets to a point where we're say we come out of the blocks like we did against Wolves, like we did against Burnley, we take our chances for a change. We're 3-0 up at half time. Bring Aubameyang and Saka and Tierney off for the last half an hour. Give them a rest, and then you can play them again against Spurs. But I think you've got to take this game first, then look at Spurs.
It's important. Go on.
I was going to say I would personally see. I'd rotate for Olympiacos. I think put out certain players we know are good enough to win that game, and then I think because we've got that squad depth at the moment, which is so crucial, I would play in my opinion, Cedric's now our first choice right back.
Yeah.
I play Bellerin against Olympiacos, maybe even Callum Chambers, I don't know. Yeah. Then I play like the likes of Bellerin, probably Gabriel and maybe Holding as if they're now our second choice centre-back pairing. But then probably maybe even bring Lacazette in, Pepe, Martinelli. I mean, Martinelli probably won't play because there seems to be something going on there with Arteta. But I think our squad depth is strong enough. I would play our strongest team against Spurs, but I think we can. I said it the other podcast. I think Olympiacos is more of a mental hurdle than it is actually a physical hurdle of they're a good team. So I think we can afford to play the likes of Lacazette, Bellerin, Smith Rowe, and then maybe Martinelli and Pepe, and then save Aubameyang and Saka and Willian for Spurs.
But you're saying rotate to let players play who we know are good enough to win. Yeah. We've lost 11 times this season doing that.
But I do think we can. I do think we can put a good enough team out to beat Olympiacos that isn't our full strength team. I think we can rotate a bit, and I reckon we could get away with it. You say that as well, but we saw the same against Leicester, and we ended up beating 3-1. Yes, granted they were absolutely on their knees, but we were in the same situation. I'm not saying to play Willian and to play a complete weakened team, but I think maybe give Ceballos a game again. Maybe Ceballos and Xhaka seems to be. Xhaka seems to play every game at the moment, but I think give Ceballos that chance to bounce back. You know what I mean? And then we can put a strong enough team out and beat Olympiacos, I believe.
It's important to know that Spurs are in the same position. They want to win the Europa League.
Bar travelling, of course.
I mean, who have they got?
They got. We said it in our reaction, didn't we?
I can't even remember who they got.
I think they've got an easier team than we do.
Yeah, well, it wasn't something.
Dynamo Zagreb.
Oh, Zagreb. Okay.
But again, it's a similar sort of team. But they've got that. They're in the same. Apart from travelling, they're in the same boat. And I read a headline the other day, which was like Spurs could be on for the double. I read that and I was like, I hope not. God, I hope not. I think it's interesting what we've spoken about in terms of the team, because I not a predicted team, but I mean, if you want, I'm happy to run through the team we would play.
Should we do that? Should we do 11 weeks out?
Starting in goal, Leno is registered, obviously, and so is Matt Ryan.
I played Matt Ryan. He's not injured, is he?
No, I don't think he's injured.
No,
apart from Hine or Aquino, he's only a senior registered goalkeeper.
Isn't Runarsson registered? I wouldn't play him, but isn't Runarsson also
registered? No, he registered Ryan, and then I think it's either Hine or Aquino. I don't know.
I would play Ryan, but I can see him playing Leno because he didn't play Ryan in the previous fixture, did he, against Benfica? So I could see him playing Leno, but I wouldn't see an issue of playing Ryan.
No, I mean, I don't think that'd be an issue. I just think if you're trying to predict who he play, I think Leno's got to start just because
sorry, just to clarify, are we doing our preference or who we think will play?
I mean, we can do both, really. Like, we're not going to predict.
Okay.
Like, he'll play a full team, won't he? So, I mean, I'd like to see Matt Ryan given a proper run out by choice rather than by force.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so
or Leno goes in, we win 4-0, and then we stick Ryan in goal for the second leg, and ahead of West Ham. Just hope like.
If we can win the tie in the first leg, I think that would be that's obviously we don't want to completely tire ourselves out, but if we can really try and give ourselves a big advantage going into the second leg, I think that could mentally give us a lot more of a break than if we make it difficult for ourselves like we have so often throughout the course of the season. But yeah, sorry.
Again, it's always like, oh, what if? But what if Leno got injured in that game? So like Socrates just goes and breaks his leg or something.
Yeah, but that's the reason we signed Matt Ryan. It's no longer we've got Runnison. Ryan. I don't see a problem with Leno starting the games that are important to us, and at this point, every game is important to us.
I'm on the fence.
Ryan. I would say I'm confident in our backup goalkeeper. I wasn't confident in Runnison because we saw what we did against Man City, but I am confident in Matt Ryan in goal.
Both I'd be happy with. I think just because of the importance of the tie, I'd give it to Leno. But if Ryan started, I'd be delighted. Right back.
What formation are we going for, by the way? 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, I think that's what we're making. Right back, I think you're right. Cedric's our first choice right back, but was rested at the weekend. So I can see him coming in.
I would play Bellerin. Bellerin hasn't played at all, has he?
No, he was on the bench. And Chambers.
I'd play Bellerin and save Cedric for the game at the for the Spurs game.
I think it depends on who you play at right wing as well. If you're going to play Saka on the right, then you'd probably want Bellerin's all right, but Bellerin playing as an inverted fullback tends to get in the way of Pepe trying to cut inside every time. So you need
Cedric
to
have that link up with Pepe a lot better, doesn't he?
Yeah, because Cedric's very happy just to go and overlap and make a lot of runs that draw defenders away, which Bellerin's not as confident doing.
Are we going Bellerin?
Yeah, we'll go with Bellerin because I think Saka will probably start on the right.
I don't think Chambers gets into that team. I don't know if he's registered, but he doesn't, especially after playing 90 minutes on his first game since 2019.
I don't think he did anything to stand out either. I think that was more of against a physical side.
I think it was an attempt at a tactical kind of like we throw another centre back in at right back just because his physical presence.
He was solid. He didn't do anything wrong.
Let's not forget as well. Matthew Valbuena is going to be on the left for Olympiacos most likely, and he's 5'5". So I mean, there's no point having Cedric in really.
Bellerin makes sense. Okay, centre backs. I think Holding and Gabriel. I think you're right. Come into that.
Say Holding, I'd agree with that. Holding and Gabriel.
And then left back.
We've only got Tierney, haven't we? We don't really have any other. I think Tierney. Yeah, it's going to be Tierney, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm worried with overplaying him after coming back from injury.
It will be Tierney, won't it? Like,
unless he's going to throw, he wouldn't throw Cedric in there, would he? You wouldn't think.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and then maybe go. But then you sort of like, I'm thinking of Spurs physical Harry Kane. You stick Chambers in, but he just gets destroyed by Bale and so on.
I can see it already.
I think.
Do you remember that Liverpool game when he was back in 2016 when Sadio Mane ruined Chambers and Holding?
I think
the opening day of the season.
Which remember when
gives me those vibes.
Roberto Firmino cut through all of our defence with Mustafi and Socrates.
I think KT goes in there, but if it's Cedric, I'd be happy. Just to rest him, just because I love Tierney, but just to give him a bit of a rest.
A left back is definitely a priority come the summer.
Oh God, yeah.
Left back.
I mean, I sign a backup. If I sign a backup left back, I sign Hakimi and I sign Edouard, and then I think I bring Torreira back in from Atletico Madrid, and we have a decent team.
You love Torreira, don't you?
Well, I'm sure we'll come back in the international break for an actual transfers podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we should do in the transfer window. Holding midfield.
I thought you said holding in midfield for a minute. I was thinking, surely not.
No.
We're not that desperate.
The midfield pivot. Ceballos, I think, comes in. I think Xhaka's starting to. Xhaka and Potter are starting.
Does Elneny get a shout?
Oh, God, I hope not. I really hope not.
But
I think it'll be Partey and Ceballos.
Ceballos is very progressive with his passing, and then Elneny could kind of be that holding role that obviously Xhaka does so well, and he's so crucial to the team. But I mean, I guess there's a shout for Elneny to start.
Do you all think Ceballos goes in there though, regardless of who he's paired with?
I think he needs to come back in. I think he made a mistake last game, and he needs to come in straight away, kind of clear that out his head, and just move on with it.
I mean, if we're going to be full strength, then Xhaka and Partey will obviously play. But I think Partey's the one that you don't want to take out of there if he's fit. You know, even if you only want him to play 60, 70 minutes, you want 60, 70 minutes from him from the get-go. And then Ceballos, I think granted Xhaka's miles clear of Ceballos, but I think Ceballos might come in, depending on, as we said before, which game's priority.
Ceballos hasn't played much football, has he? Like, he's not been given the same amount of game time he was given last season, was he? So,
well, no, but in fairness, we did sign Partey, so you'd hope he wasn't.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I can see it being Ceballos and Partey, but I expect it to be Ceballos and Elneny, to be honest.
That's a combination we still haven't seen that I would like to see before Ceballos goes back. A Ceballos and Partey partnership, which I thought at the start of the season was going to be our full strength midfield.
Yeah,
but credit to Xhaka, he's been brilliant.
He turned it around
against Burnley.
I think Partey and Torreira would be an absolute diamond of a midfield next season.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it would.
They're too similar. Just obviously, I don't.
You think if we get Odegaard back in or Smith Rowe, that is a beautiful triangle.
Josh, get it out your head. Torreira's not. I can't see Torreira playing for us again.
I know.
He's like the second coming of Gattuso.
Like that is just your dream midfield. Honestly, they both work hard for the team. I would love that to happen. I'd love to see that next season. First game of the season.
Lose 2.
Season at home to newly promoted Norwich. Torreira in the midfield next to Partey. Oh, it'd be beautiful. Right, but back to Olympiacos. Across the front 3 behind the striker. Right wing.
Saka.
Dan.
I'd say Pepe.
I'd give Pepe a run out, to be honest. I think protect Saka against... If we need a goal, bring him on, but protect him for Spurs if we can.
No, actually, no, sorry, I'm going to backtrack that. I'm going to agree with Ben. I'm going to Saka.
Fair enough. Actually, outnumbered.
Sorry, no, I just thought ahead there. No, I'm going to say Saka.
Yeah, likewise.
Saka goes in, centre of that attacking midfield.
I'd say Smith Rowe, yeah.
Is he fit?
Should be.
I think so. He was fit against Burnley. They just chose to rest
him.
Fine.
I thought the injury against Leicester was longer term. I'm happy for ESR to go in there. Left wing.
Pepe.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then central striker is Lacazette.
Yeah, I'd say Laka.
I mean,
give Aubameyang 20 minutes at the end, but I'd start.
I'll agree with you on that, but I think Aubameyang will probably play because, I mean, he's our club captain and he's our best goal scorer, and if you don't play him in the biggest games of your season, then what's the point of having him? That's my opinion about it.
Yeah, but for me, that's why I'd save him for the North London derby.
But that goes back to whether we think Olympiacos is a bigger game.
He prefers playing the derby, though, wouldn't he? As club captain, as an Arsenal man, that team is more than strong enough for beating Olympiacos.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right, just before we go, predictions, our favourite part of the episode. Dan, let's change it up, starting with you.
3-0 to Arsenal.
God, he's gone big. Ben?
I'm going to say 3-0.
Oh, voice break there. Ben, what's your...
it's quite funny. I was going to say the same thing. I'll say 3-1 to Arsenal.
You're going to make me look like a mug now. I'm going to really undershoot it, just in case.
You can say like 1-1 or something like that.
What?
Were you going to say a 1-1 draw or something like that?
No comment. 2-1 Arsenal.
I think a 1-1 draw is a great result, to be fair. But now we get to play them at the Emirates. unless you get some, unless you know, it's a question about whether the players end up with PTSD. We'll play them at second leg will be the Emirates, yeah.
Oh, it's a repeat of last year. Oh God, I thought it was a
round. In fairness,
a
repeat of last year is just playing them away and then playing them at home. Like it's nothing too.
This is where I say it's more of a mental barrier than it's a physical, like the team.
Yeah, it is definitely a mental hurdle because Benfica are a better team than this lot, and we should have scored a lot more than we did against them. Right, so we've gone 3-1, 3-0, 2-1. Let's hope.
Final score: Olympiacos 1, Arsenal 0. Good.
Let's hope that Arsenal can build a strong. We should need a solid advantage going to the second leg. Do what we didn't do against Benfica. I think is the most important thing. Right, so kickoff is Thursday. Game on Thursday, obviously. Evening kick. Are we the late kickoff or the early kickoff?
8. Yeah, late kick.
Late kickoff on Thursday. So was that 8 o'clock?
Yep.
Isn't it? Yeah. Really important game. Again, season defining game. We'll be back on Friday to review, hopefully, a convincing Arsenal win. Fingers crossed. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Let us know your thoughts. Follow us on Twitter. Everything. All that good stuff, as the good YouTubers say. Thank you to Ben and Dan for joining me. As always, it's been very fun. And let's make sure we get behind the Arsenal on Thursday. And we're confident going into the North London derby on Sunday. We will have a review on Friday and a preview for Spurs, maybe with a special guest. TBC. Thank you for watching and goodbye.